What's going on, guys? Jimmy here, and I got another review for you. This time it's of Crysis, the console version of the game, not the PC version, which came out a couple years ago. This is the console port of Crysis, the blockbuster PC title that was ported over to the Xbox Live Marketplace and PlayStation Network about late last year. And I figured I'd do a review on it for you, in case any of you console players don't really have a PC strong enough to run it and are thinking about getting it but aren't really sure. Us console players have had a little bit of experience with Crysis, with Crysis 2 launching last year. Personally, one of my favorite games last year. Honestly, it was very good. But that's another story for another day. This is about Crysis 1. The story, is pretty much simple. You just go to an island filled with Koreans, and you're wondering what's going on. One thing leads to another, and then you're fighting aliens. I'm not going to go into much more detail because the story actually is quite good and actually held my attention for quite some time. I know I've heard some people give Crysis flack for the story, but the story is not too bad. I liked it. Is it stuff that's going to win awards? No. And I don't think it did when it first came out, but it's not bad. It'll keep your attention long enough and make you actually want to push through the story and see how it all ends and wraps up, and it is a pretty satisfying ending, to say the least. That's all I'm going to say about the story. I don't want to spoil it too much for you, although a lot of you may even already know what happens, even though maybe you didn't play it because the game's been out for a while. But the big thing with Crysis is definitely the gameplay. The gameplay is actually really good. You're a superhuman dude. You're in this nano suit. You're actually, I should rephrase that. You're a normal guy, but you're in a nano suit, which gives you superhuman strength, ability to cloak, run really fast, swim, breathe underwater for unlimited amount of time. So it's really fun that way because you get the balance between armor ability and invisibility, sprinting, but you have an energy bar, so you really have to use each wisely and choose when to use each. Like I said, us console players, we've had Crysis 2 come out for the consoles, so we've had some experience. If you've played Crysis 2, then this game is going to feel right at home for you. The controls are exactly the same. Left triggers armor, right triggers invisibility. You got to balance, find a nice balance between the two. Gunplay feels really good. Sometimes the enemies can be kind of bullet sponges. Although if you aim for the head, it is one of those games where it's one bullet to the head kills them. So if you like stealth, you can really stealth through this game and just pop people in the head, and they fall really quick. But if you go running and gunning in there, sometimes I found that the enemies can take a decent amount of damage, especially the later enemies in the game. So the gameplay is actually very enjoyable and really fun. This game, if you play it on easy or normal, can be a cakewalk, I would say. So if you just want to play the game for the story, then by all means, play on easy and normal, whatever. But if you like a challenge, I would definitely put it on Delta, which is the hardest difficulty setting. If you take your time and stealth through it, it is still actually pretty easy, and you can beat the game in around 10 hours. But there are definitely parts that will really challenge you. And even though you're a soldier in some super suit, you go down very quick. I was actually kind of surprised with that. A couple bullets, you're done. You're down. And you also do face other enemies with nano suits, and they take a lot of bullets. So I was like, okay, well, I'm in a nano suit. Why don't I take this many bullets? But it's not too bad. But like I said, if you like a challenge, definitely play on Delta. I think that's the way the game is meant to be played. But some parts will definitely be frustrating. The game, was highly acclaimed on the PC for one thing, and that was graphics. Now, I would definitely suggest if you have a PC that can run Crysis on high to ultra settings, there's no question. This game, get it on that PC. It looks far better. Now, that's not saying this port looks bad. This port actually looks very good, very gorgeous. Not as good as Crysis 2 did, but definitely good. It definitely holds its own. And especially for a downloadable game, it looks ridiculously good. The forests are detailed, the guns are detailed, the people. A lot of great detail, but like I said, there are some shortcomings with it being on a console. The draw distance is kind of weird. Some of the textures can be blurred out, and facial animations look kind of weird at times. And just overall, I think if you really had a really powerful PC, basically if you were running the game on medium settings, probably is what it looks like on consoles. Maybe between medium and high, I would say. So definitely, I mean, if you have a PC that can run it on higher ultra, get it on that. It plays better, it looks better on that, and whatnot. Unfortunately, though, the game doesn't come with multiplayer. It had multiplayer on the PC version, and Crysis 2's multiplayer actually was pretty fun if you played it. But this does not, come out with multiplayer. Unfortunately, I think it would be kind of fun. Although I don't know how big of a community it would have had. Crysis 2's multiplayer kind of died out pretty quick, so maybe that's why they did it. Maybe just costs. The game was just $20, and who knows what the reason was. But it's kind of disappointing to see that. There is a bunch of customization in the game. No, I shouldn't say a bunch, but there is a decent amount of customization in the game when it comes to guns. You have different attachments. You see at the beginning of the video, I went through a few attachments. You can put silencers on guns, scopes, flashlights, laser sights, different types of ammunition, like incendiary ammo. So, I mean, with that, there's a decent amount of customization, and there's a good bit of guns to choose from. You got your standard shotguns, assault rifles. You got some SMGs. You got some alien weapons at the end. You got some RPGs, and you got some miniguns. Pretty cool weapons. Standard fare, but pretty cool. And they all handle and feel great. And here you see him using an alien type machine gun. Very fun. Very, very fun. So you can customize them however you want. So if you want to go through the game with silencers on all your weapons, cloaked the whole time, you can definitely do that, and the game is fun that way. It really is. But if you want to run and gun, first of all, I'll suggest putting on a lower difficulty setting if you want to run and gun, and armor up and have a shotgun. It's a blast that way. This game actually does have some destructible environments. Not everything is destructible, but most of like shacks that you see, sniper towers, stuff like that can be completely brought down, and the destruction animation is actually very good. I have not played this game on PC, so I was very surprised by that, and it was pleasantly surprised, I should say. But Crysis is definitely a good game. If you don't have a PC, maybe you have a Mac, maybe you don't have a good enough PC, and you want to play this game, this is definitely the way to go. I think it's still $20 on the networks, Xbox Live Marketplace or PSN. I suggest definitely go for it. It's a fun game. It'll last you 10 to 15 hours depending on your playstyle. It took me around 12, 13 hours. I was playing on the hardest difficulty setting. It did stealth most of the way through, and so I took my time in a lot of levels. So but after you beat the game, unfortunately, unless you want to play the other difficulties, there's not much replay value. There's no collectibles and stuff like that. That's kind of disappointing. But the game's good. The game's really, really, really fun. I really enjoyed Crysis 2. I really enjoyed this game. So if you played Crysis 2 and liked it, definitely pick this up. If you're just curious, pick it up. Anyway, it's a good game. If you're looking for a new first-person shooter, definitely pick it up.